A Victim Bites Back, show 30. And I told you last episode, when we were originally in Rome, about Nino, my dear friend, who unfortunately got Alzheimer's, went to bed one night and set fire to his flat and died. I was very sad because he was a lovely guy and I was very fond of him. He was actually married when he was young and had 2 children, but had completely lost touch with wife and children, and said he was leaving me his house. This is his house, in his will. Sadly, of course, because he went to sleep with a cigarette and the entire place burnt down, his will disappeared, as did Nino, and his house is still there, occupied by other people. I don't know who eventually got it. All I do know is it wasn't me. Welcome to A Victim Bites Back, Rome, Show 2. Is my favourite road in the world. Now, it may seem a bit silly to you to have a favourite road, but this is mine. It's the Cristoforo Colombo road from Rome out to Ostia, and it goes straight as an arrow out to the sea, and it's been here for not hundreds but thousands of years. Now, I'm told it was the first ever road. Don't ask me why the Greeks or the Egyptians or whoever didn't have roads and why the Romans invented roads. But anyway, this has been here for thousands of years. And of course, the emperors used to come down here in their chariots because a lot of Romans had to go out to Ostia, which was the main port to the sea. So not only did they come out, but they came back with everything that arrived by sea to Ostia, including foodstuffs and everything else. And I imagine Cleopatra, when she arrived here to visit her boyfriend, either the Emperor Julius Caesar or Mark Antony, I can't remember which one it was. But anyway, this road, it is incredible because it is, perhaps, I may be wrong on that, but it is meant to be the first road in the world. B, it is fabulous because you have these trees on either side of it, stretching back hundreds of years, these trees, beautifully looked after. I love the way the Romans look after their trees and have respect for it. But as a result, the road just goes straight out to the the sea, and it's just a joy. And you can literally see the sea on a clear day from several miles away as you crest over one of the hills. Hopefully you'll be able to see it if my camera can pick it up, all the way down to Ostia. I travel on this road at least twice or three times every year when I'm in Rome. I love the journey. I love Ostia anyway. It's where I've been many times and have discovered several songs that I've converted into being hits. Gloria, Una Paloma Blanca, One for You, One for Me, which I've heard coming out of radios on the beach, and sometimes had to stop and ask somebody, excuse me, who is the artist, in my rather limited Italiano, and they tell me, for instance, Umberto Tozzi, who wrote Gloria, and then I go and find a copy of the record and contact the writer and say, can I write the English lyric, please? And they say, usually, I'm glad to say, yes, we'd be delighted. And indeed, if you get hold of Umberto Tozzi's Greatest Hits album, he recorded my English lyric to Gloria for his English version of Gloria, although actually secretly I think his Italian version is much better. And I actually also think Laura Branigan, who had the hit a few years later, having heard my record and rewrote the lyrics, actually did it better than I did. I'm not very pleased with my version of it, but even so, it was one of the ones I heard on the beach and asked somebody, excuse me, who's the artist for that? But the road is so gorgeous. I mean, it's not always straight, as you can tell. I'm just going round corners here and there slightly. But these marvellous trees on either side of it stretch out all the way, and then you hit that moment when you go slightly over the crest of a hill, and there, 3 or 4 miles away, directly in front of you, is the sea and the beach and Ostia. Can you understand why this is my favourite road in the world?
But only when I'm sleeping, only when I'm dreaming. All my days are lonely, so cloudy grey without you. But when they get too much for me, I only think of Gloria. Gloria, when I'm with you, all my life days are new meaning. In my world the sun starts shining. I love you, Gloria. Gloria, wait until I find you. One day I will hold you. One day I will touch you. My friends say I'm crazy. tin. They'll talk about your loyalty, of how my days were misery, and how my nights were liberty, of how I set you free from me, of freedom from reality, how when I'm with you, Gloria, oh my life takes on new meaning. In my world the sun starts shining. I love you, Gloria.
Enjoying the sunshine on Ostia Beach, which I've been to for about the last 60 years, man and boy. The port at Ostia isn't quite what it was 2,000 years ago. Indeed, it isn't quite what it was 20 years ago. These days there's almost no ships or boats here at all, just the occasional sort of personal yacht being done up by one of the places here. But other than that, it's all very much gone downhill. Oddly enough, only a few miles down the coast is Fiumicino, the international airport for Rome and for transport that seems to have taken over from shipping in the area. Do let me know if my stories about roads and ports and aircraft and other forms of transport and communication are boring you to tears. We seem to have stuck at a regular level of a few thousand people watching this series on all the various assorted sites, YouTube, dedicated sites and so on and so forth. But do leave comments if you're enjoying them and would like me to continue doing them, or even if you're bored to tears and really think I ought to stop, please. As I drive through the streets of Rome, the Phillip Schofield scandal continues. Amol Rajan did an interview with him for the BBC. Phillip Schofield has been so badly advised and takes such stupid, wrong decisions. Now, the only reason, clearly, he did the Amol Rajan interview was because he's well aware of the real danger that's coming up. And that is if his ex-boyfriend decides, because of financial remuneration, to tell everybody that Phillip Schofield seduced him when he was 15 or underage. And Phillip knows that will mean it will become a court case, the police will be involved, and not only will it cost him a fortune, but he'll probably end up doing life in prison. With the way the law is these days, you will be believed even if you are lying. Now, he knows, as well as everybody else, he's fallen out with the ex-boyfriend. he knows as well as everybody else that some people quite like the idea of making £500,000, perhaps £1 million, just by slightly altering the facts. So I don't know when or whether or how Philip ever had his physical sexual affair with this young man, but it just doesn't take an awful lot to just alter things around, as long as you've been promised that no matter what, you will be paid £500,000 or £1 million that you can put in your bank. And Philip knows that is the real danger. He's actually wrong. The real danger is all the others that will come out of the woodwork anyway now. And they will all claim to have had sex with Philip probably when they were under 16, because that's the legal age of consent in Great Britain. And that's where he will be really badly hit. So, again, a wrong decision. He's not fooling anybody by making these interviews. It's absolutely, he's been so badly advised, and he's doing so many things wrong. That stupid list to David Cameron, just to show that I'm not a paedophile. That's stupid when his brother got convicted of being a paedophile, probably equally wrongly, that he said, I no longer have a brother. I mean, imagine giving somebody up when you know damn well that the law and everything else are completely broken in Great Britain at the moment, and yet you desert somebody like your brother, your own brother, in their time of need. Disgraceful. And I think most people actually felt that when he said that. It was a stupid thing to say. And everything else, this interview with Amol Rajan is much more foolish than Prince Andrew doing the interview with Emily Maitlis or whatever. It is getting to a point of unbelievable stupidity, but I have to say, a lot of people are starting to see the reality here. I think there's an awful lot of people who think that awful Virginia Giuffre, who made the allegations about Prince Andrew, is not a trustworthy, decent, fine, upstanding, honest and honourable human being, and she may well live to regret her decisions and her lies. Karma does have a habit of coming around and biting people on the bottom. Look at what happened to Max Clifford. Anyway, another of my fabulous places I visit when I'm in Rome and in Italy is Tivoli, and I advise so many of my friends to go to Tivoli. A couple of friends of mine were thinking of getting engaged and getting married. Indeed, they subsequently have been married. And I said to the guy, look, you have to wait until you propose to your girlfriend, who was an Italian, and who I brought down, the two of them, to Rome, because she'd never been to Rome. She comes from somewhere way up north in Trento, it's called in Italy, and they'd never been to Rome. So I said, you must come and I'll show you around. And I said, you've got to wait until you get to Sibylla's Oracle in Tivoli. Now, this is a restaurant, but in the grounds of the restaurant is this temple that used to be the oracle to Sibyl, that Roman emperors used to come out to actually ask, should I invade Great Britain? To which they were told, yes, the entrails of the chicken are rotten, you must invade immediately, or whatever. Anyway, I'm afraid my friend disobeyed me and proposed to her before they came on the trip. So I made him do it a second time, and he rather brilliantly managed to persuade them, because usually the temple is closed, roped off, to let him into the temple, where he did propose, and his wife now, Monica, said it's the most romantic thing that has ever happened to her.
One for me, change your mind and stay. Hot clubs on the way, honey, let me hear you say, yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't go, baby, please don't go. One for you, one for you, one for me, one for me, one for you, one for you, one for me, one for me, one for you, you, one for me, 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 me, one for you, one for me.
I adore Rome, and it's not just because it's a great looking city with wonderful views and everything else. It's not just because of the incredible atmosphere and everything about it. It's a wonderful city. I think it's mainly because you drive round the corner and there in front of you is something that's probably been there for 2,000 or 3,000 years, and it's falling down basically, but because they don't like destroying anything, they've just rebuilt it into a part of a more modern building. And you see these columns that have been there for a couple of thousand years that are now incorporated into the wall of a brand new building. Rome is one of my favourite cities in the world. Rome, Paris, and of course London and New York, and I have to say all of Morocco.